For the past couple of years, I've been failing miserably at my life. Whenever I try to build a new habit, try to do something that I really want to do, or just try to accomplish pretty much anything in life, I was failing miserably. Out of nowhere, out of something, like simply, I didn't know why, but I just simply couldn't build anything that is worthwhile to just share or do in life. The only thing that I did was wasting my time laying on a bed and just watching YouTube. So that started in 2019. That's the year I called for myself a beginning of realization that I need to fix my life, and it could not go any further than that. So I really didn't want to waste my entire adolescence, my entire teenage years to just watching YouTube. So then 5 years ago, I decided to just simply sit and figure out what's wrong with me. I failed a ton for the past 5 years, but what I learned is that whenever you fail, you learn a little bit more about yourself. The only thing that you need to do is to not be blind, not be ignorant to yourself, and just focus on whatever you are learning. Whenever you fail, you need to focus on that. You need to learn why you failed, when you failed, and what need to be changed in order to not fail in the future. That's the thing that you need to focus on, and I completely ignored that for the past 5 years, and only now I kind of realized what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. So a week ago, I was completely miserable and hopeless and sad and whatever, just to simply restart my channel. I didn't know what to do. I was just simply hopeless, kind of hopeless, because I had some hope that in the future, I will find a way, to build my future better life. But there was only one problem. I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't find any answers on YouTube, and just simply, for some reason, I didn't know what to do. And my expectations that lowering my baseline and just focusing on whatever Jordan Peterson says and Dr. Case told me in that moment, which is simply, don't move your goalposts and go clean your bedroom, just focus on really, really tiny first things, are the most important things if you are on self-improvement stage 0, which is absolutely like down dip of your life. If you're feeling like shit, that's the things that you need to focus on right now, is those really, really tiny small steps that feels humiliating to do, that feels like just a waste of time, but are essential for you in order to build a better life and to simply build something out of it. A week ago, I decided to learn about those tiny little steps that I can take on a daily basis, and I decided to, rebuild a habit of making video games. In the past, I really liked to make video games. That was my passion. I really wanted to make it. But there was only one problem. I was working on like 2 or 3 days, and then everything just simply feel super boring, super hard for me to continue. So I mostly just tend to skip it, just simply ignore it, and stop making video games whatsoever. So I can pretty much say that I failed my game development journey in the past, but only now, a week ago, I set myself a goal, which is, okay, I'm gonna focus on just for the first 5 minutes. I'm gonna open up Unity Hub, I'm gonna create a new project, and I'm gonna make a character move left and right. That's the thing I'm gonna focus on, and that's the only thing that I need to do right now. It was a little bit hard for me. I felt some resistance towards doing it, but because of the fact that it was only for 5 minutes, and it was really pretty much easy to do, I could do it. And because of the fact that I somehow managed to, create a project and wait until it's gonna compile and save and whatever, somehow managed to script a player within a couple of minutes, and it worked. And I feel really proud of that I can do a script within like a couple of minutes. I can code for a couple of minutes. Indeed, while I'm saying it to you, it does feel like 5 minutes of game development. Yeah, that's a person that's gonna make a ton of progress in the future. And I did. Actually, on the next day, I decided to, create some projects. So I tried to remake River Raid because it's a shoot 'em up game and I do like it. And even though you probably don't know about this really old Atari game from like 80s or 70s even probably, but what's cool about this game is really easy for me to just focus on really, really tiny steps. Just simply focusing on movements, them fighting ability, then just simply scrolling background and just pop-ups, whatever, pop-ups indeed, power-ups, enemies. It is really, really easy game to remake. And that's what actually gave me some power, and I stopped feeling like a failure. I decided that I'm gonna just simply work on a project for a little bit, at least for like 5 minutes or 6 minutes on a daily basis. And on the second day, I somehow worked for like 30 minutes, even though I had a really painful headache afterwards. But like 30 minutes was a good, I can say, progress. Yes, indeed, progress. Then on the next day, I worked for like an hour twice. So I worked like for 2 hours on the game. On a third day or on a fourth day, I decided to just completely change a whole idea of making games because I saw how I can make a progress, which is awesome. Even though I didn't finish the game, I felt like I can make some progress. So I decided to set myself a challenge of remaking 20 games for the next year. And I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit later, but for now, as I learned, the thing that you need to focus on is to simply lowering your baseline as low as possible until like literally it would feel like humiliating to do. It would feel like a waste of time, but that's when you actually make a ton of progress, because a person who wants really easy and fast benefit would take longer time to do something, especially if he's at stage 0 of like self-improvement or something like this, than a person that just decided that I'm gonna do this for like a minute on a daily basis. What he just doesn't realize, that person who wants a really fast benefit, he doesn't realize the idea of exponential growth, I can say. Whenever you work on a game for 5 minutes, tomorrow you're not gonna work for another like 5 minutes or 6 minutes or so. You're gonna work for not only 10 but 15 minutes. After that, you can work for an hour. After that, you can work for like 3 hours or so. That's the power of exponential growth that actually works whenever you do some progress. So yes, this is idea of simply setting really, really small, lower baseline for yourself to do something, but over a couple of days, you will actually make even more progress than if you would decided to make a ton of progress right now. So it does feel counterintuitive, but you need to feel it yourself. Okay, you need to understand what I'm talking about. Just simply set a goal for yourself that I'm gonna do something for a minute, or even less than that. I'm gonna just simply take a notebook, open it up, scrap something in here, and that's how my drawing simply skills gonna be built. It feels like a waste of time, I know, but just hear me out. This is the thing that you need to do in order to actually just simply progress in life and do some progress. The second thing that you need to focus on is goal setting, because whenever you set a goal, you're actually opening up for being a failure, of course, but even better than that, you're opening opportunity for yourself to progress and learn and grow. Whenever you grow, you feel like positive. You have some positive emotions whenever you hit some goals, whenever you move towards them, which is really interesting idea that I tried myself, and I realized that my YouTube addiction needs to be simply destroyed over a long period of time. But instead of just simply cutting off right now and doing a dopamine detox for like 30 days, no, I decided to just check how many hours I just simply watch YouTube. As I learned about myself, I watch for like 6 or 8 hours a day. A ton, I know, but it is what it is. Then I decided I'm gonna set a limit for myself that I'm not gonna watch more than this, which is 6 hours. Feels like, yeah, a good limit to start with, but just hear me out. Whenever I just set a limit for myself, for some reason I stopped watching YouTube almost entirely for the first like couple of days. Then I was only watching the things that I really needed to learn and know about, which is some podcasts, like from Jordan Peterson, some Diary of the CEO, some Joe Rogan, some whatever, some things that I really needed to learn, some watch tutorials, whatever. And my maximum amount of hours I watched for those like past week was 2 hours, because Jordan Peterson, well, talks a lot, and some of his podcasts takes like half an hour, an hour itself to just listen to it. It took me a ton of time, but actually that's like my most spent time. 2 hours, that's my maximum. And indeed, you're kind of setting up a goal for yourself, to just simply not hit it, I mean 6 hours, not watching more than this. But I get even more further. In order to make consistent progress, I decided to cut by 5 minutes from this limit. What does mean? That literally means whenever I just try to do something, whenever I just try to watch YouTube, on the next day I'm gonna cut 5 minutes from the amount of hours I have from my like limit. So 6 hours, next day I'm gonna be 5 hours and 55 minutes. The next day is gonna be 50 minutes. Next day is gonna be 45 minutes. So you learn it. You probably understand it. Just simply cutting 5 minutes from like my whole watch time limit. And now I am at the point of 5 hours and 30 minutes, which means I cut it like 13 minutes of my full watch time limit, and it doesn't actually feel that much. It doesn't feel like I'm making progress, but that's the power of just simply setting up really, really low goals that you will not believe that you hit them. That's the power. Just simply set a goal and do it. The only problem is whenever you set a goal, sometimes you can forget to do something and you just don't feel like doing it, because we are all humans. And you need to learn how to negotiate with yourself to do them, but sometimes you just don't know what to do, which is a big problem. Even though you have a goal, but it's not this thing that you need to do right now, and you can just simply skip it for now and do it later. You can procrastinate on your task if it's not immediate and important right now. So instead of just simply setting up a goals, I suggest you to scheduling your day, and not like for 100%, and not the things that you have to do. I have to do this, and instead of just simply, forcing yourself to do something, negotiate with yourself, talk with yourself. What are the things that I would love to have in my schedule? What are the things that is really important for me right now to do? That's the thing that you need to focus on right now. And instead of building the whole schedule for your whole day, try to only scheduling like a couple of things. Especially if you're just starting up, try to schedule only one thing a day or 2 things a day. Then you, on a daily basis, you can add up 1 or 2 things, or even like less than that, just simply improving your current schedule of whatever you just said. So this actually help you to prevent you from wasting your time on watching YouTube, because whenever you don't know what to do, you can just go and watch YouTube, because it doesn't actually hurt you that well. But when you have a schedule, it will actually feel like a waste of time when you just waste YouTube hours to simply watch it. It will feel like a waste of time. So I hope that this video was somewhat interesting to you to hear, and it was a ton of interest for me to make this video, to progress and share it with you. But what I realized for my future, I don't want to be a self-improvement, just simply person who talks about I made this, I made that. It doesn't actually interesting for me to progress in that way. Maybe I'm wrong. I did not experiment enough in this field. I'm gonna probably just simply improve myself a little bit better. I'm gonna try to learn about how I can make progress this type of videos a little bit more interesting. But what I learned right now, it is more important for me to make video games than recording videos. Recording videos is important, I know that, but for me it is more important to make video games rather than making videos. I'm not gonna stop making videos, but I'm just prioritizing my all interest and time to make a video game. Then afterward, I'm gonna record videos about how I did that, how I did this, and everything else. So thanks a lot for watching. If this video was helpful, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and if it wasn't, well, write down in the comments why. So, bye.